A Hat in Time, a game that combines Super Mario 64, the open world of games like Super Mario 3D World, and the story of what would probably be a Disney version of Harry Potter, probably called Larry Hopper and the Phantom Hourglass. In this game, made by a breakfast company and released before one of 2017's best games of its year, we play as the rather quirky, adorable, and lovable protagonist, Sorceress Insert Name Here, on her quest to get magical hourglasses to fuel her spaceship and return home. And in doing so, we will encounter several old men and kill them, meet a questionable Australian female, and participate in a theater play brought to you by SMG4. This is a game that shocked me beyond belief for being far better than I expected, and is a game that, quite frankly, is one of my favorite games that I've played this year. And that's saying something. So, join me on this insanely fun, parkour thrilling, combat-inducing game that is A Hat in Time. First things first, I want to talk about the similarities that this game has to other titles, because there's quite a few. If you have a keen eye, you probably notice that the control scheme of this game is nearly identical to that of Super Mario 64, with things such as wall jumps, dives, punches, throwing objects, and even double jumps. Yeah, I know it's not a triple jump, but you get the idea. Throw some fighting into the mix, and you have a pretty awesome set of gameplay to work with. Everything kind of works together in a way that I haven't seen many games nail in a similar way, making the combat feel fresh and unique anytime you play. Furthermore, I wouldn't be surprised if this game was heavily inspired by games like Super Mario Odyssey and Mario 64, both in gameplay and level design, with it, releasing at least 3 weeks before Odyssey in the first place. The levels themselves do feel a bit more like Super Mario 64 rather than Odyssey, with those magic glasses acting as stars, little pawns acting as coins, and enemies to fight throughout the levels. So I guess the best way to describe this is it's kind of like if Mario 64 were made today, and it works quite well. Alright, let's backtrack though to the start of the game itself. This title screen is it's great, just trust me. There is literally a speedrun mode. What? I'm not entirely sure if the developers of this game, which are from Denmark by the way, were assuming that people were going to speedrun their game, or if this was put in at a later date, but it's just funny to see it here. Also, why would you want to turn off in-game saving? Except in a speedrun, duh. I'm also going to assume that this game has had DLC before, which we're not going to touch on today, but it seems pretty dope. We begin a new game to wake up from a bed getting completely pissed off that the co-pilot of Starship Breakfast is yelling at us. Funny, our character is a murderer. What is that disappearing in this chest? Wait, this sound effect is from this game? Alright, wait a sec, I gotta make sure I use this well in the video. Welcome back guys to Jackbox Party Pack. Today we're going to be playing in these pillows.
Ouch, my circuit board.
Funny. Is this supposed to be like a homebrew channel meme that was on the Wii? And that's in a 2017 video game? That's just shocking. That is one weird fridge considering all of its contents. I'ma just find that cute and we're just gonna walk out. We then decide to check our fuel capacity, but not before this random guy shows up, wanting us to pay a price for being in space near their town. That's on a planet that we're not even on, that's in space. Yep, that's totally how a government works. He then Markiplier punches the window, and we get sucked out into space, along with all of the fuel for our ship, as it and us crash land down to this planet, heading into Mafia Town, as we start the campaign. And I can't help but think this place kind of reminds me of New Donk City, so let's kick some music into gear and get into the gameplay itself. We then find a rather strange blonde chick, otherwise known as Cant, and chase her down through the city streets of Los Angeles.
Hey you! Down. Us kids should stick together, not stalk one another. I mean, Mafia Town can be a really dangerous place. So what'd you say? Wanna join my little rebellion? Oh!
Also, how much money did they have to pay the Australian access to voice in this game? Storing trash. She shows us an hourglass at the fountain, and, well, I think you know what's gonna happen next. That's just funny.
Huh? Oh?
I'll take you.
How about you? Oh no! Get over here!
Thank you.
We return to our ship to restore power, and shortly after, return to Mafia Town to deal with some TNT, because it's gonna be a big fight. And the game immediately introduces wall jumping. It's actually surprisingly useful, and it's not as strange and awkward to pull off as in Mario 64, so good job on that. However, it's during the entire exploration we're getting these random chat bubbles from our blonde Australian friend, who apparently really wants to tell you that only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's completely free, and you can always change your mind. A biscuit? Okay then. It's during this that I came to realize that although these levels are relatively short and simple, there is a lot of exploration to be had. This is kind of where I like to diverge this game from being closer to Super Mario Odyssey while also being reminiscent of Super Mario 64. In a lot of ways, this game feels like Super Mario Odyssey, with small kingdoms or levels, but there's lots of exploration for things to do and find. I can only imagine what a speedrun of this game looks like considering these level sizes, and trust me, I'm probably gonna go look at it after this video. In fact, there's so much to this exploration for this game, let's just take it in for a few moments. I got a hat, let's go! We arrive at what may be a fireman festival as we battle against the Mafia to save our friend. Our blonde friend then decides that we'll head to the Mafia HQ to get our hourglasses back and stop the Mafia. Alright, cool. This ain't Smash, get out of here.
First, we strangle them, choke them, and watch them beg for mercy. That'll show them.
Jesus Christ, this woman's kind of crazy, don't you think?
Yarn can be found around Mafia Town and used to stitch new hats if you're crafty. I've collected one for you.
I'm not a cat, this ain't Stray. The Homebrew app literally opens a webpage with all of the game's DLC. Alright, cool. We now head to Act 3 as we chase a man down who is scared of us. And, I'm just gonna say it real quick. This game is running on Unreal Engine 3. No, not Unreal 4 or more like Unreal 5. No, Unreal 3. But for 2017, this game genuinely looks amazing, and dare I say, on par with games like Super Mario Odyssey in the visual department. And bear in mind, this is basically the only game the developers have actually made, with one more kind of oddball game that's not part of this franchise earlier last year. So it's impressive that they managed to nail it on their first try. So good job, devs, you're doing good. Secondly, I am also realizing that this game had to have been developed by people who at least knew internet culture. Definitely. I fell into mud, which apparently turns me into a mindless walking zombie, which is, for one, it's dope, but for two, it actually makes scaring this guy a lot more fun than you'd think.
Mafia's a spaceship! Mafia knew all along! Mafia is being invaded by aliens! Ah!
Anyways, we complete this level and head to the final level of Chapter 1, Down with the Mafia. And after we fly away into the sunset, we enter the inside of what is probably a Las Vegas casino, in which we can kill all of the patrons, stare into the men's bathroom as a woman, that's kinda sus, and buy badges from a man from the void. Heading into the kitchen, we'll need to find a key to open the door to progress further. Thus, we journey into the rafters to find Remy from Ratatouille and a cook who is cooking because the Mafia's cooking is so bad that people will die from it. That's kinda rough. Eventually, we take a bucket of crabs to that button in the bathrooms you may have saw earlier. We grab this key and unlock that door to head into the freezers. And after some mediocre parkour, we arrive at the halls of the Mafia King and then challenge him to battle as a stage play. What? But genuinely, this is a fun battle. It kind of uses the moves that you've probably used so far to your advantage with the use of air attacks, climbing, and industry standard dodging the moving objects. Suddenly, however, we learn that these hourglasses can actually warp us back and forth through time, and our blonde friend wants to use that for defeating evil, and unfortunately, we do not. She then gets pissed, runs away, literally robs half of our money, and now we're enemies. Man, women suck, don't they? With this, we unlock the machine room, and while we're not going to do any more levels today, let's explore this room. There is literally a supercomputer in here. I wonder. It's got games. It's cool. It can't even get on YouTube! To wrap this up, let's review. A Hat in Time is an outstanding game with simple level design, a vast open world within those levels for you to explore, an amazing set of gameplay and controls, and a story that is simple yet full of depth and characters. I've seen and heard people play this game before, and I've always wondered why they loved it so much, and now I can see why. This feels, in my opinion, pretty much like almost like if cartoons and anime fused together to make a version of Super Mario Odyssey in this light. And if that's to be the case, I'm gonna tell you now, it's working. This is an absolute must-play for anyone that loves open-world exploration games like Super Mario Odyssey, as well as many others. And this is one that I'm definitely going to finish all the way through, as it's just not good not to. But with this, sadly, it's time to end. My name is PandaPowerSauce. Remember to stay saucy, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.